go to KJ first. It was like history repeating itself because we got a penalty in the last minute against them 3 years ago. Can't believe it.
I can. We knew it's one of those ones. We knew where we was going. We knew we was probably going to lose this game. Just not in the way that we thought. Like the fact that we was 10 seconds away of going there, getting a draw, would have been a really good point for us in terms of the top 6 race, top 4 race. Not conceding against this Brighton team right now would have been, again, back-to-back games we played against them. No goals conceded. Would have been really good. Like, it's just, I don't know what Luke Shaw's doing. I really don't. Honestly, I really don't. He was so good for the entirety of the game. Like, honestly, so good. And then the free kick gets given away against him, which again was not a free kick. Like, I don't know what the ref is doing, but hey. And then his head is gone. You know what I mean? His head's gone. He's vexed, and he's just done stupidness. And this is why I keep saying, I know Neeks, we all have back and forth about how we perceive Man United online and stuff. But this is why I keep saying, top 4 ain't done until it's done. Because these guys are inconsistent. They have these moments of just foolishness in them. And I'm not here sitting here saying, it's over. Oh, it's going to be sacked and hard. No, I'm just saying that we need to be serious here. And these guys need to be shown that, we're not sitting here thinking the job's done. Like, the job ain't finished. We need to go in, get those 3 wins, and then you can start doing foolishness when it don't matter no more. Like,
well, the thing with me, my issue is even more. It's not even like, again, as you said, we probably kind of looked at this game, a lot of us, and thought probably a game we might lose. We're looking at the running, and it's the way that we lost it at the death that's kind of the more gut wrenching thing, because I think a lot of people thought, we'll take a draw, probably, And
I'll buy your hand off. I said at the start of the game, I'll buy your hand off for a draw.
But the disappointing thing is not even that we lost the game. It's the performances at the moment are very, very either poor or inconsistent. Like we had a good performance against Aston Villa. We weren't good in in the Wembley game against Brighton, it was like 50-50, but they probably dominated it. Second half today, we weren't in the game at all, even though we had a good first half, which was like, I was surprised at how we were in the first half. Okay, we've actually come out to play. We're coming to win, and in the second half we didn't have anything. And it's that kind of I don't have any doubts we're going to get top 4, but it's that stumbling over the line that just doesn't make you feel good about it. Like if you stumble over the line to win a trophy, then it doesn't matter, you win the trophy. But to stumble over the line for top 4 is just it feels a bit meh. Especially when you go final at the end of the season, you can't afford to be stumbling into that final. You need to pick up. And when we had the first half, I thought, okay, if we can play like this and going forward for the rest of the games, we can actually go into that final with some kind of momentum. But the second half was poor. We didn't deserve to win the game. It's just a shame that Luke Shaw had a moment of madness, and then we lost it, innit?
And the madness for me is, I said this after I think it was a Sevilla game, or was it the game before, wherever game it was that Martinez got injured and it all kind of went a bit nuts. I said it, we're going to limp to the finish because as you can see, our team is fatigued. We're tired, not just physically, mentally. That's when you get the mistakes creeping into people's games. That's when you get the lapses of concentrations, the Casemiro's who's dropping 5, 6s out of 10s when he was a 8 or a 9 out of 10 every game damn near. Our team's tired, man, and we're going to limp to the end, and we are definitely in the top 4 race. I said that after Sevilla. I'll say it again today. Liverpool have just as good a chance as finishing in the top 4 as United right now, and there's no doubt about it for me personally.
But you know what's mad, yeah? I'll let Staffy and obviously let Zane go and have his little rant of him saying, bruv, yeah, what, bruv, I told you, bruv. Like, I know that's coming, so I accept
all the spitting in the mic.
You know what I mean? yeah, foaming at the mouth and that. But for the people saying Ten Hag, that's it, Ten Hag needs to be sacked or he's not good enough just based off this season. It's kind of like, what do we really expect when there's a team with players from Fergie, players from LVG, players from Mourinho, players from Oli, and players from Ten Hag? He's not been given a chance yet to completely overhaul everything. Until that happens, we can't really sit here and say he's just not good enough for achieving a trophy and top 4. It don't make no sense. And if
those people, KJ, I would like to know what they thought at the start of the season. Once the transfer window was all done and you saw, what was your thoughts at the start of the season? Because again, it's a lot of times it can be recency bias. You're looking at the way that our form has kind of tailed off recently, and everyone's like, Ten Hag's terrible. And obviously at the moment, Liverpool form is going the other way, and people are praising them. But the reality is, but the reality is, a season is 38 games. So do you judge a team on their last 5 games, or do you judge them over the course of the season? At the end, the table never lies. So if he gets top 4 and obviously he's won a trophy, what do you judge him on? How you ended the season or the season?
You judge the overall thing, and what you said there, KJ, spot on. And I've seen a lot of people do these like comparisons of Ten Hag's season, and what they often do is Ollie's second season or Jose's second season. Points wise, it's the best first season any Eddie new Man United manager has had since Fergie. First season that they've had. We are 1 point worse off than Pep's first season in the Premier League at this same stage. So, and Pep's a superior manager and also took over a team that was in the middle of winning things still. So I do think there's a hyperbolic overreaction from some Man United fans. And you'll probably find, if you dig deep enough, they wanted Poch or they wanted somebody different. And this happens to most fans of clubs who have gone through multiple managers in the last decade in the social media era. People go, oh, I wanted Jose, not Antonio Conte. I'm just making this example up. And then they give Jose a chance. But every time he slips up, their bias for what they really want comes out, as opposed to being kind of objective with the new manager and looking at the totality of his achievements in this first season and then looking at what he's dealing with. And Pav said earlier, like, he can't adapt enough. But I also look at it from a perspective of he's still starting games with a squad that he has. I mean, the whole back line tonight isn't his team. He didn't buy any of those players as an example. The midfield that started, one of those players is his. The attacking line that started, one of those individuals that started the game tonight is his. Look, Rashford and Bruno, I'll include as his because I think he wants to build them as part of his team. But I'm not going to let nights like tonight and our bad away form against the top 9 teams. I'm not going to allow that narrative to cloud the overall season. I know it's something that we've got to improve on, but what I think rivals are looking for, what the media are going to do, because TalkSport will do this tomorrow. They'll turn around tomorrow and talk about how that's what they'll focus on is being the overarching element of his season. And it's not just how you start, it is how you finish. We end up getting top 4 and we get an FA Cup. I'm going to be buzzing. As long as we improve on these things next year, I'm not overly worried, because again, we're not 3.5 years or 7 years into him running our team. He's 9 months, 10 months into it. And if other managers are allowed time who have had longer, all I'm hearing from the media about Arsenal, and rightfully so, by the way, is no, Arteta needs more backing, more time. Look how much they've improved. Different reasons. You've had Klopp, who's run and built a squad for 7 years. He's had a bad year in it, so he needs time, though, to build another team, give him opportunity. For some reason, the media don't want to give Erik Ten Hag the same leeways they're giving other managers, and that's time to build a squad, time to have multiple summers. He's the only manager where the spending before him is being used against him. And as a Man United fan, I'm just not going to turn around and allow that to happen without some pushback. And people can call me a spin doctor or whatever it is they want to do. But I'm going to apply, just like I did with the penalty tonight, the same logic I do to everybody. Remember what Simon Jordan said today as well, away from Man United. Downplayed Haaland's goals because this era isn't as good as previous eras in the 90s. Scoring goals is easier. But in the same very show says if City win the treble, it's the greatest English team of all time. How can it be if football's easier now? Like, this is what I mean by the lunacy when it comes to professional punditry and debate. What they say, they speak out of both sides of their mouth at all times. And fans that join in with it, all you're going to do is ruin your own club's legacies at one point when they take them away from you. Staffy, what did you make of the performance tonight and the way in which Man United lost? How are you feeling, bro?
I don't know about others. It reminds me a lot of the Arsenal game when we lost away from home, in terms of when you look at the first half, it should have never been goalless. You know, Both teams should have had goal. We had enough chances to score. They had a couple decent chances in the first half. Obviously, they played a much better second half than the first half. It just reminds me of the Arsenal game a lot because it reminds me that we can't play a sustainable way of football for 90 minutes. If you guys remember the Arsenal game, we collapsed after 60 minutes. The last 30 minutes, we just defended for our lives, and we actually conceded in that last minute. So when you look at it, the games are very similar in terms of when you play a team that's very dominant on the ball, has a purpose every time they get the ball, and they're at home, so they're getting that crowd pushing them. They'll always get away with us when we just sit back the last 30 minutes and just try to defend for our lives. Our team is still not good enough. Like you've seen Jose Mourinho teams for years where they're able to sit there and like get a 1-0 or like a draw where like they didn't really deserve a result, but they fight for their lives and they don't concede late. We're not even that good defensively to do that. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't think there's any shame losing to Brighton, especially that I predicted a loss. This guy that's sitting in the bottom corner here smiling so much, he needs to remember that they didn't beat Brighton once this season. They actually played them 3 times and they haven't beat them. So I hope you came ready with your homework. But anyways, yeah, they're a good team. Honestly, when you look at the last like 30 minutes of the game, they really pushed a lot. They deserve to win that. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to make much out of it. You know, I'm not going to say Ten Hag out. You know, you saw me more pissed there when we tied 2-2 versus Spurs as today. Today, I'm much calmer talking because I expected this. I actually expected worse than this. You know, if, as you said, if we tied, we were one penalty decision away from saying, you know, we got something out of this game that, you know, it's kind of impressive, you know. So the manner of defeat wasn't bad for me. I'm upset that we lost, obviously, because at the end of the day, I'm a fan. But the manner of defeat doesn't upset me. You know, hopefully next year we go out, as you said, and build a better team that has more of the profile players that he wants. So we don't have to sit in those away games against teams like Brighton and Arsenal and City and Liverpool and defend for our lives, you know?
Can I just say quickly before obviously you bring Zayn in, is that obviously respond to some of the comments because Arsenal fans are like, oh, you didn't have the same energy for Arteta and Arsenal. We are still in the driving seat for change expectations change over the course of the season. Start of the season, nobody expected top 4. Middle of the season, we expect top 4. We are sitting in 4th and we're in the driving seat for top 4. Your expectations change in the middle of the season to win the league. You are no longer in the driving seat for your change expectations. So what do you, the energy has to be the same if the situation is the same. Situation is different. We are 4 points clear of 5th with a game in hand. I think for me, there's nothing to lose our head about. There's no energy that I need to come with. If in the end we bottle the league, not the league, but the top 4 and our league position, then I'm gonna have a different energy because our expectations change at the start of the season. But here we are in the position that our expectations change to. So
I totally agree. And a lot of people say, yeah, but Terry, you spent 200 million. I know. And Pep's first season, he spent 216 million. I'm saying this, and maybe this is the bit that people are struggling with layered thinking. Everything you're calling Ten Hag out for, our away record from home against the top 9 teams, our second half performances of late, the line being too deep, maybe. I think they're all valid criticisms, but they stop at the end of the criticism. At the end of the criticism, and that's something to improve on in his second year. Not what I think some people want to hear from Carl. I think what some people want to hear come out of my mouth is, and therefore I want him sacked. And that's not going to happen. So
it just did. They've clipped you now, Terry. They've clipped you a little bit now.
I think that's the thing for me. It's almost, I agree with what rivals are saying, but I think what they want my reaction to be, it isn't going to come because I don't feel, and this is what I love. See, this is, I've clocked it this year. People call it excuses. People don't want to hear why you failed anymore. They just want to hear you say, we are crap. That's all. That's what people turn up to hear. And I don't feel like Man United are a crap team. We're a team in transition. We're a team that's improving. I agree with a lot of the criticisms, but that's where it ends. We improve on it next year, and then we see. But in my opinion, our record against whoever the top 9 teams are next year, I believe our away record against them next season will be better. I fundamentally believe that.
This is
And
why, Terry, I keep saying, 1 second, Dizzy, my bad. This is why I keep saying we have, as a team, we have a lot more to look forward to next year and to improve on than people want to think. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, there's no guarantee that the next year when Ten Hag gets his players, this and that's going to happen. There's so many flaws still in this team. It's so much easier to improve on it than a team who, like, when we argue with the Arsenal, and I'm not saying that we're on courts with Arsenal, but like when I was making that argument that they have less to improve on next year, but because this year they were almost perfect and they battled at the end. You look at our team, there's so much still to improve on. These away runs, when you go away and you don't lose last minute games like Arsenal and Newcastle, or Arsenal and Brighton today, or you don't get piped like that City game and that Liverpool game, there's much more to improve on and to look forward to than to just sit here and say, well, there's no guaranteed success for Ten Hag next year when he gets his players. No, there's actually so much that he could still do with this team.
Do you know what I am going to say to rivals as well that are saying, Terry, you're being a spin doctor. No, you're actually a crap team. No, you're actually going to be 8th next year. You're the same guys that when I say we're overachieving, say you can't be because you're brilliant. So what are we? Rubbish and come in 8th next year? Or are we overachieving this year? Again,
two things.
The banter don't work. You guys got to stick to one story to make it work. You keep changing.